This is the ultimate ChatGPT formula. Hey there, I'm Jillian Kendrick, and welcome to the Momentum Marketing Podcast. I'm a mama, a wife, an entrepreneur, and a 3-time best-selling co-author. In each episode, you'll get real-world, practical advice and strategies, and maybe a parenting tip or two along the way. If you're ready to create a business that supports your family and your lifestyle, then you're in the right place. I am so glad to be back doing another episode of the Momentum Marketing Podcast. This podcast is a lot of fun for me. It's very creative for me, which I love. I'm one of those people that has to have that creative outlet. If you're the same way, let me know. And it's also been creatively challenging, which has been interesting to explore and a lot of fun. And I'm so glad to be back with you for another episode. And I just want to say too, and on a personal note, I've been doing this podcast for, I think, about 9, maybe 10 months or so now, and we've consistently put out an episode every single week. I'm so proud. I'm so proud of my editor. Thank you to my amazing editor who's done a really great job putting all of this together. I'm very grateful to my team who's worked hard to help me make this a reality. And I'm proud of myself for doing something and sticking to it and making it work on my timeline. I'm sure as you know by now that I'm a busy mama. Life is hectic. I don't always have the right schedule to put podcast episodes together every single week, but when I can batch them and we can send them out every week, that works really well. And so we've created a channel of content that works around not only my lifestyle and the way that I like to work, but it's good for our team as well. And it's still sharing and providing value to you, the listener. So thank you. If you haven't done so already, please go wherever you get your podcasts and rate this podcast. I would love a 5-star rating. If you don't like it, that's totally fine. Not everything is for everybody, but I would really appreciate some kind of rating. If you could go to Spotify or Apple Music or wherever you get your podcasts and give me a rating, I would really appreciate it. I want to give a little bit of an AI disclaimer before I jump into my ultimate AI formula for you. So I have been playing around with AI for the last several months. I've been doing different things. I actually contributed to an AI summit over the summer. And I will say AI has been helpful in terms of helping me produce stuff, create content, write emails, tweak things. I've sent a message with code in it and told it to fix the code, and it's done that. It's actually been a really cool experience to walk through using AI. Now, do I believe that the robots are going to take over anytime soon? No, not necessarily, because ChatGPT, some of the other AIs that I've been looking at are very confidently incorrect, or they're correct, but they're not detailed enough. So for instance, just for fun this morning, I was like, give me some podcast ideas about marketing and tools and other things. And some of the ideas were navigating the digital marketing landscape. Well, that's all fine and well, but that's not really a great podcast episode or title. That's also really vague. Unveiling marketing automation. As much as I love marketing automation, we don't need to unveil it necessarily. ROI of marketing. Now, there could be a good one talking about how to find the ROI of the marketing that you're doing. SEO demystified. That's not really a good one either. There's so much to talk about when it comes to SEO. So all of that is to say that I don't personally believe that the robots are going to take over anytime soon. And as much as I enjoy using ChatGPT and have benefited from using it, there's still something to be said about needing to then edit it. I think that it is helpful. I think that it's a great tool, but I don't think that it's something that you can rely on completely. I found that even using my own ultimate ChatGPT formula that I'm about to teach you, I still have to go back and edit things and tweak things and fix them for my voice and, all of that. So please don't think for a second that you're going to get into ChatGPT and be like, oh, I never have to write an email again. That's not true. And I think, could that day come? Yeah, sure. Absolutely. That day could come, but I don't think that we're close to that right now, at least not from what I've seen and not from the tools that I've been testing over the last several months. So let's dive in. Let's talk about the ultimate ChatGPT formula. So first of all, I want to say within ChatGPT, there is a free version and there is a paid version. I will say that you will get better results from the paid version than you will from the free version. And the paid is only like $20 a month. So let's say that you are not going to use ChatGPT all that much. Maybe you could pay for it for a couple of months while you're working on your funnel or you're writing emails or something like that, and then stop paying for it when you're done. But I would highly recommend, if you aren't paying for it, use the paid version, because I have gotten much better results from the paid version versus the free version for sure. Next, I wasn't aware when I first started using ChatGPT and kind of like playing with it and testing it, that every chat is kind of a new learning phase for the system. So the system doesn't necessarily know you holistically, at least not from the testing that I've been doing. But if I can create a new chat, and you'll find that when you log into ChatGPT, on the left-hand side, the black navigation bar at the very top, there's a plus button and it says new chat. If you click that and you create a chat for the specific purpose that I'm about to teach you, and you continue to use that chat, the AI will continue to learn as you add more to that chat. This isn't a great example, but it's almost like every Facebook ad is going to end up with its own algorithm based on a number of factors, based on the audience, based on the criteria, based on the type of ad that you're running, based on the contents of that ad, etc. So ChatGPT is no different. Every time you create a new chat, it's kind of like a fresh slate for the learning tool to get to know you and produce something that you're trying to generate. So for the purpose of writing emails or writing blog posts, or even, let's say, writing summaries of a podcast, you'll want to create a new chat for each one of those things. So for me, I have a chat related to mom specific or mompreneur content. I have a chat about objections. I have a chat about email strategy. I have what I'm about to teach you, which is my getting to know you chat. And then I have another one for our podcast. So each one of those then becomes kind of its own learning instance. And the other thing I want to say about ChatGPT is, and really any AI tool, is the more that you add to it, the more that you give it, the more it's going to give back to you, which is part of the formula that I'm about to teach you. So if you go into ChatGPT, you open a new chat and you just say, give me 6 podcast episode ideas about marketing, which is what I did this morning to test it. Obviously, it's going to give you really kind of basic, generic, bland, confidently incorrect information. But when you add to it, because it's a learning tool, it's not just artificially intelligent, it's a learning tool. It has to get to know you and your style and what you're about in order to give you the content that you're looking for, which is part of the formula. So let's dive in now to the ultimate ChatGPT formula. So like I said, you're going to go in and create a brand new chat, and you can title this chat whatever you'd like, but have the title of the chat be something that you can go back and refer to, or that you know is the thing that you're working on learning about you. So I did getting to know you, like the song from The King and I, because I like Broadway and musicals. Next, what you're going to do inside of this chat, you could even just say hello or hi, and ChatGPT will actually respond. It'll chat with you, right? It becomes this kind of text message thread inside of the new chat. And so I wrote, for the purposes of you getting to know me and learning more about me so that you can help me produce better content, I want to tell you about myself. And then ChatGPT wrote back and said, absolutely, I'm here to listen. Feel free to tell me whatever you're comfortable with. So then I started explaining, I'm an entrepreneur, I have a son, I am an automation expert, I have a podcast, I have been in business for almost 10 years, I have over 13 years of experience in the online marketing space, I'm fluent and familiar in the following softwares. This is how much money I've made. This is what I've done. This is the thing that I'm an expert in. This is what I know about marketing. This is my past work experience. I went from writing social media posts for $3 an hour to now having a multi-six-figure business. This is my previous work experience. This is how much we make. I bought our first family car in cash. We have a son, da 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 da. And I just basically like talked about myself. If you have a bio, you could put that in here. I gave it some history about me, what I'm about, who I am, what I've done, what I've accomplished, and so on. And ChatGPT wrote back and was like, thank you. What an impressive journey in your aspirations and blah, 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 blah. And it's quite admirable that you love to do this stuff. And that's totally fine. And so then what I said is, I want to give you the transcript of my webinar, and I would like you to do a few different things in order to get familiar with me. So I basically uploaded the entire transcript of my webinar and I gave it all of that. There's like a character limit, so I had to upload it in stages. But every time I would add a new snippet of the transcript, it would basically summarize each of those sections. So then it would say like, thank you so much for sharing your next snippet of your webinar. This section portrays enthusiasm and expertise. Here's a breakdown of some key aspects that are evident to me. And so it would basically give me a summary of my tonality, my approach, the things that I was saying about marketing trends, the problem solution identifiers that I came up with in my webinar, my tonality being like motivational and reassuring, personal touches, relatability to my lifestyle, work-life balance, just stuff like that. So then I would keep uploading section after section after section, and I would tell it, here's another section of my webinar so you can get to know me better. Copy paste. And then it would give me another summary and another summary and another summary and another summary. And so after going through basically uploading every single snippet of my webinar and it giving me back all of those highlights and summaries, it actually started to suggest, oh, you should do an interactive Q&A. And I wrote back and said, well, I can't do an interactive Q&A as you suggested, because before I said this is a recorded webinar and it's going to go on Evergreen. And so I was teaching it. It was trying to give me suggestions, and then I'm following up and teaching it. This is why that won't work, right? So then after the last summary and the last snippet that I uploaded, I said, overall, can you give me a summary of the webinar and a summary of the suggestions that you have on how I can improve the webinar? And so then it gave me a summary. It gave me a list of suggestions that honestly weren't incredibly helpful. But again, this is all part of the learning tool phase. Then what I said was take all of the summaries of the webinar that you gave me and give me one official summary of my writing style and my voice. And so then it gave me this writing style summary, which was awesome. It gave me tone, vocabulary, grammar, content patterns, calls to action, values, pacing, different things like that that were really, really helpful. So then I was able to copy that writing style summary and say, okay, ChatGPT, using the writing style summary below and using everything that you know about me up to this point, because I've been teaching it for a while, using the writing style summary and everything that you know about me up to this point, please write an email related to XYZ. I didn't just say, write me an email. I gave it really specific things to write about. And that helped produce much better emails and much better content. It actually got to the point where inside of the email, when I would input, okay, write an email about this and this and this and this and this, and the call to action is to sign up for my program. When it would actually name the name of my program, it didn't have a TM at the end. And so I wrote back and said, okay, in future emails, don't call it the insert name of program. It's just the name of the program. And so I had to teach it. And then I had to say, all right, well, every time you name the name of the program, you have to put a TM at the end of it from now on. Again, I'm teaching the artificial intelligence. It has to go through this learning phase of how to talk like me, how to write like me, how to do all of that sort of stuff. Another way that you can do this if you don't have a webinar necessarily is take a writing sample. In fact, take like 2 or 3 at minimum. If you have more, that's great. but take at least 2 or 3 writing samples of content you've written, blog posts, emails you've written, just anything that you have that you believe is a good representation of you and your voice and the way that you like to speak and come off. And then ask ChatGPT, I want you to tell me about my writing style. I want you to give me a summary of the writing style using the writer's voice, analyze the style, describe these extensively, but without giving specific examples. And then it would actually give me a writing style summary. Or you can say, okay, using the content of the email below, summarize my writing style with tone, vocabulary, grammar, rhetorical devices, content patterns, values, call to action, and pacing. Then do the same thing. Paste in your next email and say, using the content of the email below, summarize my writing style for tone, vocabulary, grammar, rhetorical devices, content patterns, values, calls to action, and pacing. And then do it again. Paste in your next email or your next blog or your next script or something like that. And then once you've done that and you've gone through giving it a few examples and samples of your writing so that it can produce the style that you have, then I want you to input, based on the writing samples above, I want you to combine all of the writing styles and voice so that I can use the description for future content. Give me a writing style analysis that encompasses all of the analyses that you've done up to this point, including tone, vocabulary, grammar, rhetorical devices, content patterns, values, call to action, and pacing. Then, once ChatGPT produces that writing style analysis for you, that is your golden ticket. That is the thing that you're going to use anytime you want ChatGPT to produce content for you. So then you can say, using the writing style analysis below, please give me an email about XYZ. Or please give me an email talking about these 3 common objections. Or you could say, using this writing style pasted below, give me an email talking about the 5 biggest fears children have when going to the dentist. And then ChatGPT will take your writing style analysis and it will come up with better content that's written in your voice. Now, again, my disclaimer is you're going to have to rewrite some of this. You're going to have to go back in and fix it and tweak it and make sure that it's correct. Please don't produce this content and then just copy and paste it into your autoresponder. It's not going to work that way. But doing it this way, with my ultimate formula, it will give you a much better chance of producing content that looks and feels and sounds like you wrote it. You're going to go back and rewrite it and fix it and edit it, of course, but it will save you so much more time because now you've taught the artificial intelligence and you've gone through the learning phase of this system, understanding who you are, what you're about, how you talk, how you come off. And although as of the fall 2023, it won't produce perfect content for you, it definitely won't replace you, but it will help you produce content faster and get closer and closer to writing like you. If this episode has been helpful and once you use the ultimate ChatGPT formula, I would love to hear from you. Send me an email, hello@jilliankendrick.com. Thanks so much for joining me on this episode of the Momentum Marketing Podcast. If listening to this has brought you value, improved your life, or given you insight on how you can build your own momentum, then please share this with a friend. And if you're ready to grow your business on autopilot, then I want to help you get there easier and faster with a free copy of my Entrepreneur Survival Kit. Just leave a review of this podcast wherever you're listening right now. Hopefully it's a 5-star review and you love it. Then screenshot the review and email the screenshot to hello@jilliankendrick.com. Once we confirm the review, we'll send you a copy of the Survival Kit totally free. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you on the next episode. All content is written and recorded by Jillian Kendrick. Copyright 2023, all rights reserved.
Subscribe.